What is going on YouTube? Today we got something special. I say that like every single time, but we got something special. Also, don't mind my hair, it's oily. I put oil in it, but I got myself here a cake. Just a simple cake. This is one of my favorite chocolate cakes that you can get from the store. It's a McCain chocolate cake, but the reason why I got this is because it's my birthday. I am turning 31. Old. So yeah, I didn't want to get myself like a big cake or anything like that. Just get myself a regular McCain cake. I know a lot of people who dislike this cake. I don't know why they dislike this cake. This cake is the bee's knees. I don't know why they don't like it, but I think it's amazing. Now, I will say you guys are seeing this video a bit late. My birthday would be yesterday from the time you guys are seeing this, March 7th. And this video is coming out March 8th. So let's go ahead and open this up here. Look at that. Ooh, that looks so good. Like the little riffles on the top there. Like, hold on, you see the little riffles on the top there? Like, it doesn't get much better than that. My mom and I both love this cake. She's the one who like got me into this cake. It's always a good cake. It's cheap. It's like $7. It used to be like $3 or $4, but you know, inflation. But before we get started, guys, we're just watch the end to get my full review of this cake. This is some good stuff. Like, we're just gonna eat it right out of there. Look at that. I can give myself a present. So this is gonna be my present. This is cake. Honestly, I don't think there's anything special about this cake. I think the icing is what does it for me here. Like the icing I just like so much. The cake itself, like, it doesn't even have like a particular taste. It tastes like just straight out of the box, regular. Kind of dry actually. But the icing itself is like, it's not like overly sweet. Actually, I'd probably just eat the icing alone. It's good though, it's good. But yeah, today's my birthday, or yesterday's my birthday. 31 years old. And what have I learned in these 31 years of life? Well, I think that's a tough question to answer, honestly. Because I don't think I've learned anything with my age. It's like, you know, as I get older. Cut myself off there, yeah. No. One thing I learned is that I think you never have enough time. One thing I learned, and if you're like 20, 21, 22 watching this, you should definitely know this, is that a lot of people tell you, like, live your life in your 20s, you know, do this, do that, you know. You have all the time in the world to figure out who you want to be. You have all the time in the world to do what you want to do, etc. And what a lot of people do is to kind of just coast, just like me, you know, in my time. Just coast through your 20s, you know, your late teens and your early, mid, and late 20s. And you're like, I don't know what I want to do in life. I don't know what I want to do in life, etc., etc. And then you know what? Me personally, now that I'm officially like in my 30s, it's like, I feel like I should have set my sights on like doing something specific to better my future, you know? I should have set my sights on like failing and like trying a bunch of different things. I did try some things, some like weird, like a detailing business and like a website and stuff like that. But I didn't really go crazy with it. I wasn't really focused on what I want to be. It's kind of just like, for the most part, I thought everything would just work out. So I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a lot of time. Like just being complacent in certain situations, you know. And at a certain point, you know what? It sucks to say, but I feel like I'm behind. And a lot of people feel that way too. When they get to a certain age and they don't have the things they want, like for example, say you want your own house. By the time you're like 33, you get to 33, you don't have your own house. It's easy to be like, I blame everything else. Like I blame the economy, I blame the government, I blame the fact that like wages aren't going up, et cetera, et cetera. Like you can blame so many things, but at the end of the day, it's like ultimately I think you have yourself to blame because you didn't like set a goal and like work your hardest to get to that goal. And like I understand like things happen. And in a lot of instances, I'm sure most instances, or at least a lot of instances, you won't get that because it's hard. Things happen and it's hard. It's hard to get your own house, especially now times. It is hard to do all that. But if you turn 20, you're like, I want a house. I'm gonna do everything I can to get a house, or I want to be like a doctor or things like that. Like you have your mind set on, you work tirelessly to do it, you will not feel behind, you know? Or at least if you do feel behind, you won't actually be behind. If you start when you're 20 and you do all the necessary steps, by the time you're like 28, 29, you will be a doctor most likely. And say you're not making as much as a doctor because it is expensive, at least you're a doctor, right? I want to be so many things. And the only thing I am right now is I feel like behind. And whether it is my fault or it's not my fault, I feel like it's my fault, you know? And a lot of people feel like it's their fault. But I'm not trying to sound morbid. There is a benefit to feeling like that. Maybe not a benefit to feeling like that, but there's always a silver lining. And the silver lining is when you can identify when you're feeling behind, when you can identify, you know, the steps you can take to push yourself forward and these steps you didn't take in the past that got you to this situation, you can begin to change it, right? Like, you know, this YouTube channel, I started to kind of push myself forward so I'm not behind anymore, you know. And while I'm still not monetized, still not making money from it, at least, you know, I'm getting there slowly I'm getting there. I'm officially more than half the amount of watch time hours I need to get there. I'm at 2,100, I need 4,000. We're slowly getting there. The reason why I started playing poker too, like so much, because I started last year, like I love poker like all my life, but I started last year. It's helping me get to where I want to be, and then just my job, I guess, helped me to where I want to be. Where I want to be is making money, you know, and just doing things on my own time. I think that's the main thing. That is the main thing. You know, I thought of that goal like a couple years ago, like solid. Like I want to make money on my own time and do things on my own time, but I didn't think of how I'm gonna get there, right? Or at least it's very vague. Like the car detailing business is very vague. I'm just gonna clean cars. The website, I'm just gonna write blogs. I didn't think about how I'm gonna monetize or anything like that. It's very vague. Even with this YouTube channel, when I started, it was very vague, but I have ideas, you know, and I think I might be just rambling and I might not be making too much sense right now, but I think if you are 20, you should have one like specific goal. I want to be an actor. Let's just use that for example. And then you tirelessly and meticulously think of every step you want to do to get there. I'm not a person who's like, oh, just have fun in your 20s. I mean, my mindset isn't like that now, that, oh, retroactively thinking you should just have fun in your 20s. You should just like, you know, not worry about things in 20, figure out when you're 30, 40. No, I think you should figure out when you're 20. A lot of people are just like, I want to travel now when I'm 20, when I'm 30. I want to travel and do all these things while I'm young, which I guess, you know, maybe it'll change later. But me, now my mindset's just like, I want to work when I'm 20 and 30, when I have the energy to like do everything and go and like, you know, work really hard, and then travel when I'm 40, 50, 60, just for the rest of my life. I don't want to be working until I'm 75. I don't want to be working until I'm like 80. I don't want to be working until I'm like 50. I don't even want to be working until I don't want to work now. But it's just like, you have to. And you kind of got to think like more in the future. That's a problem with being in the 20s too. You're very like oriented on now. You're not oriented on the future. Or you've got like that laissez-faire, like, you know, you got that I'll figure it out later attitude. It'll work out all in the end attitude. And it's just like, I mean, some people are really lucky. Some people it falls in place. But, you know, I'm proud of myself for, you know, trying this channel. And I don't want to say that I regret a lot of things that I did in my 20s, you know, like choices I made. But I definitely feel like you can make better choices. And I think that's one thing you should know in your 20s too, is that anytime you make a decision, you should like think of the consequences. Easier said than done. You should think of the consequences, you know, of those actions. You should think of like the repercussions or how it'll affect you in the future. You just turned 20. You're like, I got some money and let me buy myself a car. How people buy that car and be like, I can afford it. Yeah, you can afford it, but at the same time, can you use that money elsewhere? Can you invest that money elsewhere? Do you really need the car? Can you use that money to start a business? That business makes a bigger return. You can buy the car a little bit later, you know, delayed gratification. You can take that money, invest that money, you can like double or triple, etc. You know, there's so many things you can do. And I think as a 20-year-old guy, girl, whatever, everyone just needs to think. Think. Because a lot of us make actions and decisions based off of not thinking. And I think that's a real problem. I think that's an underrated statement. And I think people do it now. I think I do it now. I think people will do it in the future, in their 40s, 50s, is that people make decisions without thinking fully about it. Even the most minute things, people are very impulsive too. I'm pretty impulsive in like some situations. Sometimes I'll just like, you know, I don't know, random situation, you know, go to the casino, I'll lose like $200 playing poker and I'll be like, I want to spend $100 of blackjack. I'll lose $100 of blackjack. And I'm like, why did I think? Why did I just take a moment? You know, I'm kind of rambling. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense. Well, what I'm trying to say, TLDR, is that always think about what you want to do. Make a plan. Don't act like you have all the time in the world, because you'll end up behind, or you'll end up feeling like you're behind. And, you know, try to be happy about like the decisions you make. Like make a decision that you don't think you'll regret, because there's nothing worse than living with regrets. So, you know. No, thinking back, I do regret a few things. Just solid regret, but you know, you can't change it. Sometimes you gotta live past it and just not make the same mistakes. Here's the final bite here. And yeah, that was the McCain chocolate cake. Sorry if this video is a little bit rambly. Originally I was gonna make like a 5-minute video and just edit and stuff, but I'm like, let me make a bit of a longer one because, you know, I don't know. I just felt like making a bit of a longer one. But with that being said, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment down below if anything you're trying to talk about. I'm down to do that. So check out the videos in the side. And yeah, let me know if you guys like this McCain chocolate cake. I love it. I think it's delicious. I'll give it like a 8 out of 10 because obviously not the best. It's like very regular. It's the icing that's like really good. And yeah, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, let me know what you guys have learned. And if you guys kind of resonate with what I said, if it made no sense, you know, it made sense in my head. Even though I didn't think about it, I just kind of talked. But you know, that's just what it is at the time. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Happy 31st birthday to me. This was the McCain chocolate cake. 8 out of 10 for a true review, and peace.